7 times you should stay silent and let karma handle it. Have you ever felt like the more you try to explain yourself, the more tangled up you get? Like every word you use to defend your truth, your respect, or what's right just gets twisted and used against you. It feels like you're fighting a losing battle, looking desperate, while the person who caused the problem walks away without a scratch. It's a frustrating cycle, isn't it? The urge to react, to correct, to prove them wrong is so strong. But what if that urge is exactly what traps you? What if the moment you stop feeding the drama, stop explaining, stop chasing, stop letting their actions dictate yours, is the moment everything changes? Imagine a snake biting its own tail. The more it struggles, the deeper the wound. But if it could just stop, if it could become still, nature would take over and healing could begin. Or think of an echo in the mountains. The sound you send out is the sound that comes back. Their lies, their harm, their disrespect, it's all energy they're sending out. And eventually, that energy finds its way back to them. While they're busy trying to provoke, deceive, and manipulate, you have a profound choice. You can fall into their trap, getting pulled into their chaos, or you can step back. You can choose silence. And when you do, that's when the weight of their own actions starts to settle back on them. That's when their own energy, their own negativity, begins to turn against them. It's not about giving up. It's about choosing a different kind of power. The power of stillness, the power of detachment, the power of letting the universe, or karma, or simply the natural consequences of their actions, do the heavy lifting. So, when do you step back and let silence speak louder than words? Stay till the end, where we will make a step-by-step plan on how to apply this to your life. We put a lot of hours into this animated video, so if you want to support our new channel, please like this video, subscribe and push the notification bell so you don't miss our new videos. Let's begin. Number 1. When someone lies about you. One of the most painful things is when someone spreads lies about you. Your reputation feels attacked, your character questioned. Every fiber of your being screams, defend yourself, tell the truth. You want to confront the lie head-on, to make sure everyone knows it's false. But here's the difficult truth. Defending yourself against lies often gives them power they didn't have before. Think about it. When you react strongly, when you get emotional, when you spend all your energy trying to disprove something, it can make people wonder if there isn't some truth to it after all. Your reaction becomes the focus, not the lie itself. The person who lied isn't usually interested in truth. They're interested in causing a reaction, in controlling the narrative, in making you look unstable or defensive. When you engage, you're essentially playing their game on their terms. There's wisdom in choosing stillness here. The ancient Stoics understood this. They taught about focusing on what you can control, your own actions, your own words, your own integrity. You cannot control what someone else says about you, but you can control your response. Instead of pouring energy into fighting a shadow, let your actions and your character speak for themselves over time. I knew a person, let's call him Alex, who was the subject of vicious rumors at his workplace. Someone jealous of his success started spreading completely false stories about his performance and attitude. Alex was initially devastated and wanted to write a company-wide email, talk to everyone individually, and clear his name. But he paused. He decided instead to simply continue doing his job with excellence, treating everyone with his usual kindness and professionalism. He didn't address the rumors, didn't defend himself, didn't even acknowledge them. Weeks turned into months. His consistent behavior, his undeniable competence, and the fact that the rumors never lined up with the reality of who he was, slowly eroded the lies. People saw the contrast. The person who spread the rumors eventually lost credibility because their words were constantly contradicted by Alex's actions. Alex didn't have to say a word. The truth revealed itself through his quiet persistence and integrity. So, when lies are spread, trust the long game. Truth has a way of surfacing, while lies, built on shaky ground, often collapse under their own weight. Focus on maintaining your own integrity. Your character is defined by your actions, not by someone else's false words. Let your silence be a statement of confidence. Confidence that the truth doesn't need your frantic defense. Number 2. When someone betrays trust. Betrayal cuts deep. It's a wound inflicted by someone you let close, someone you trusted. Whether it's a friend, a partner, or a colleague, the feeling of being let down, lied to, or stabbed in the back is profoundly painful. Your immediate reaction might be to confront them, to demand an explanation, to express the depth of your hurt, hoping they will understand the damage they've caused. But often, trying to reason with someone who has betrayed you is fruitless. People who are capable of betrayal have usually already justified their actions to themselves. They might twist the situation, blame you, minimize what they did, or show a complete lack of empathy. Your words, your pain, your attempts to make them see the truth of their actions will likely bounce off a wall of self-justification. Trying to get them to understand is like trying to squeeze water from a stone. Choosing silence after betrayal isn't about being weak or letting them off the hook. It's about recognizing that your words have no power over someone who lacks the capacity for genuine remorse or understanding in that moment. It's about protecting your own energy and dignity. The ancient philosopher Seneca spoke about trials making us stronger, like friction polishing a gem. Betrayal, though painful, can be a trial that forces you to look inward, to strengthen your boundaries, and to learn who deserves access to your life. Consider the story of Maria. She had a best friend she shared everything with. One day, she discovered this friend had been actively working against her behind her back, spreading rumors and trying to damage her reputation out of envy. Maria felt a burning urge to confront her friend, to lay out all the evidence, to demand an apology. But after a sleepless night, she decided against it. She realized that someone capable of such calculated harm wasn't likely to be moved by her pain or admit fault. Instead, Maria simply stopped engaging. She didn't announce her decision, didn't argue, didn't send angry messages. She just quietly removed herself from the friendship. The friend, expecting a dramatic confrontation, was met with silence. That silence was powerful. It wasn't an invitation to talk. It was a clear, dignified boundary. Maria's absence, her quiet withdrawal, spoke volumes in a way words never could. It showed the friend that she had crossed a line from which there was no return, at least not with Maria. When trust is broken in a fundamental way, silence can be the most powerful response. It signifies that the relationship, as you knew it, is over. It shows that you respect yourself enough not to beg for understanding or remorse from someone who proved they didn't value your trust. Let your silence be a statement of self-worth, a boundary that says, "You showed me who you are, and I accept it by walking away." Did you know that if you are currently watching this video, you are probably a visual learner? Before we get into the next part, wouldn't it be better if you had an app specially designed for visual learners like you? That's exactly what BookWatch offers. We have animated book summaries of the best non-fiction and Stoicism books like the Daily Stoic, The Obstacle is the Way, and many more. You can watch animated videos like the one you are currently watching and also ask our AI how to specifically apply each book to your life. Check out the BookWatch app in the first link in the description below. Now, let's continue. Number 3. When someone insults you. Insults are designed to provoke. They are verbal jabs aimed squarely at your confidence, your insecurities, or your peace of mind. Whether it's a cutting remark, a backhanded compliment, or outright mockery, the goal is usually the same: to get a reaction out of you. The moment you show that their words have affected you, whether through anger, hurt, or a frantic defense, you give them exactly what they want. You give them power over your emotional state. Responding to insults is often a trap. Arguing back can quickly descend into a petty exchange, lowering you to their level. Defending yourself can imply that their insult had some validity that needed addressing. Showing anger or hurt gives them the satisfaction of knowing they got under your skin. People who dish out insults are often seeking attention, feeling insecure themselves, or trying to assert dominance. Your emotional reaction is their fuel. The Stoic philosophy offers a powerful antidote. Recognize that you have control over your inner world, not the external world of others' words. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." If someone is cruel or disrespectful with their words, the best way to defeat them is to refuse to mirror that behavior. By remaining calm, collected, and indifferent, you show that their words have no hold over you. Think of a time someone tried to get a rise out of you. Perhaps a colleague made a snide comment about your work in a meeting, or a family member made a passive-aggressive remark at a gathering. Your first impulse might be to retort, to defend, to explain. But imagine if instead you simply met their words with a calm, steady gaze, perhaps a small, unreadable smile, and then moved on as if they hadn't said anything significant. This lack of reaction is disarming. It denies the insulter the conflict they crave. It shows that their attempt to provoke you failed. I recall a situation where a friend was constantly subjected to rude, teasing remarks from an acquaintance in their social circle. For a long time, my friend would either get visibly annoyed or try to witty comeback, which only seemed to encourage the acquaintance. One evening, my friend decided to try something different. The acquaintance made a particularly cutting remark, and instead of reacting, my friend just paused, looked at them for a moment without expression, and then turned to someone else and calmly continued the previous conversation. It was subtle but incredibly effective. The acquaintance looked visibly uncomfortable, their attempt at getting a reaction completely falling flat. They tried another jab later, but when met with the same calm indifference, they eventually stopped targeting my friend altogether. Handling insults with silence isn't about letting people walk over you, it's about choosing not to let their negativity penetrate your peace. It's a demonstration of inner strength and self-mastery. Your silence communicates that their words are irrelevant to your sense of self-worth. Number 4, when they play the victim. Dealing with someone who constantly plays the victim is incredibly draining and frustrating. These are people who skillfully twist situations, omit crucial details about their own role, and present themselves as the wronged party, no matter what actually happened. Their goal is to gain sympathy, shift blame, and manipulate others into seeing you or the circumstances as the perpetrator. The more you try to present the facts, the more you try to defend yourself against their portrayal, the more you can appear aggressive or unfeeling, thus solidifying their victim narrative in the eyes of others. The truth is, people who habitually play the victim are often not seeking understanding or resolution. They are seeking attention, validation for their narrative, and a way to avoid responsibility for their own actions. They thrive on drama and on controlling how others perceive a situation. When you argue with their version of events, you are giving their story energy and making yourself a key player in their performance. As the Stoics taught, complaining is often unproductive. When someone is playing the victim, they are essentially engaging in a high-level form of complaining designed to manipulate. Your energy is better spent elsewhere. Instead of getting caught in their web, step back and let their pattern of behavior speak for itself. Consider a colleague, let's call her Emily, who was notorious for playing the victim. If she missed a deadline, it was because someone else didn't give her information on time, or she was overloaded by unfair demands. If she made a mistake, she would frame it as being unfairly targeted or misunderstood. Her co-worker, Mark, initially tried to reason with her, pointing out the facts and trying to have logical conversations about shared responsibility. But every attempt was met with tears, accusations, and a twisting of his words to make him seem like a bully. Mark realized he was trapped. The more he defended himself, the more he looked like the villain in her story. So, Mark changed his approach. He stopped engaging in discussions about past events where she was playing the victim. He would listen calmly, offer a brief, neutral acknowledgement if necessary, like, "I hear you," and then pivot back to the task at hand or disengage from the conversation. He stopped trying to correct her narrative or defend himself to others. He simply focused on doing his job well and interacting with others honestly. Over time, people around Emily started to notice a pattern. Every project had a crisis where she was the suffering victim. Every conflict involved someone else being painted as the aggressor. Her constant need to be the victim became obvious, not because Mark pointed it out, but because her own behavior was consistent and predictable. The act eventually wore thin, and her credibility diminished naturally. When someone plays the victim, your silence is a refusal to participate in their manipulation. It denies them the dramatic confrontation they often seek and prevents you from being cast as the villain in their self-serving story. Trust that their consistent behavior will, in time, reveal the truth of their manipulative patterns to those around them. Number 5. When they ignore your worth. It's a quiet pain, isn't it? The feeling of being undervalued, of pouring your energy, time and care into a relationship, a friendship, or a job, only to have it met with indifference or being taken for granted. You show up, you give, you support, but it feels like your presence, your contributions, your very worth are not truly seen or appreciated. The natural instinct is to try harder, to prove your value, to make them see what they have. But trying to convince someone of your worth is a losing battle. The more you chase recognition, the more you try to prove yourself, the less value they often place on you. Why? Because people tend to value what is scarce, what they might lose, not what is always readily available, always trying to gain their approval. When you are constantly seeking their validation, you inadvertently lower your own perceived value in their eyes. This is where the power of absence comes in. The Stoics knew that sometimes stepping back is the most powerful action. As Seneca suggested, time discovers truth. When you quietly step back, when you stop making all the effort, stop chasing, and stop trying to earn their appreciation, you create a void. Your absence forces them to confront what was there. It allows time and space to reveal the truth of your value, not through your words, but through the felt reality of your absence. Think about a friend who only ever reaches out when they need something, or a partner who takes your kindness for granted, or a workplace where your extra efforts go unnoticed while others are praised. You might feel compelled to point it out, to express your hurt, to demand better treatment. But imagine instead, you simply shifted your focus and energy elsewhere. You stopped being the first one to call or text. You stopped going out of your way. You quietly redirected your time and energy towards people and activities that genuinely value you. I know a woman, Sarah, who was always the organizer, the listener, the one who checked in with her group of friends. She was the glue that held them together, but she started noticing that if she didn't initiate contact, weeks would pass without hearing from some of them. If she didn't plan the get-togethers, they rarely happened. She felt taken for granted. Instead of confronting them or complaining, she decided to experiment with silence. She stopped being the initiator for a while. She didn't make a big announcement, she just quietly stopped reaching out first. Some friends, the ones who truly valued her presence and effort, noticed immediately and started reaching out to her, expressing that they missed her. Others, the ones who had simply enjoyed her convenience, faded away. It was painful, but it was also clarifying. Her silence, her absence, sorted her relationships for her, revealing who truly valued her and who didn't. When someone ignores your worth, stop trying to make them see it. Your value is inherent. It doesn't depend on their recognition. Step back and let your absence be the mirror that shows them what they had. Sometimes, people only understand the value of what they had when they no longer have access to it. Your silence is not a plea. It is a statement of self-respect that says, I will not beg for a place in your life or beg for your appreciation. Number 6. When they try to provoke you. There are people in the world who seem to thrive on creating conflict, on pushing buttons, on getting a rise out of others. They make passive-aggressive comments, dig up old issues, or say things they know will upset you, all with the aim of provoking an emotional reaction. The moment you get angry, frustrated, or visibly upset, they win. They have successfully disrupted your peace and gained a sense of power by controlling your emotions. Responding to provocation is like taking the bait. It pulls you into their negative energy and distracts you from your own path. The provocateur isn't looking for a genuine interaction, they're looking for a reaction. They feed off your emotional energy, whether it's anger, fear, or frustration. The Stoic philosophy provides a powerful shield against provocation, the understanding that your inner state is within your control, regardless of external events or other people's behavior. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. You cannot stop someone from trying to provoke you, but you absolutely can control whether or not you allow their attempts to disturb your inner peace. Imagine someone is deliberately trying to get under your skin. They might make a comment about your appearance, question your abilities, or bring up a sensitive topic unnecessarily. Your body tenses, your heart rate might quicken, and a sharp retort forms on your tongue. But what if, in that moment, you paused? What if you took a deep breath and consciously chose not to engage with their attempt to upset you? I knew a person, David, who had a difficult relative who seemed to enjoy making pointed, critical remarks whenever they were together. Family gatherings were often tense because this relative would constantly try to provoke David. David used to get drawn into arguments, defending himself passionately, which only seemed to egg the relative on and upset David for days afterward. Eventually, David decided to try a different approach. The next time the relative made a provoking comment, David simply looked at them calmly, didn't say a word in defense, and changed the subject or spoke to someone else nearby. He didn't show anger, didn't explain himself, didn't engage with the provocation. The relative tried again a few minutes later, and again, David met it with calm deflection or silence. Without the fuel of David's reaction, the provocation fizzled out. The relative seemed confused and eventually stopped trying to bait him during that visit. When someone tries to provoke you, your silence is a powerful refusal to be controlled. It shows that you are the master of your own emotions and that their attempts to upset you are ineffective. It denies them the satisfaction they crave and protects your own inner peace. Number 7, when they regret losing you. This is perhaps the most profound lesson in the power of stepping back. Sometimes people don't truly appreciate what they have until it is gone. When someone mistreats you, takes you for granted, or fails to value you, and you make the difficult decision to walk away, your absence can become a powerful teacher. It is in the quiet void left by your departure that they might finally realize the significance of what they lost. The truth is, if they had genuinely valued you in the way you deserved, they wouldn't have created the circumstances that led to you leaving in the first place. Their failure to appreciate you while you were present is the core issue. Your departure isn't about punishing them. It's about honoring yourself and creating space for relationships where your worth is recognized. When they eventually experience regret, and often they do when they see what their actions cost them, you don't need to say a word. Your silence, your continued absence is the consequence. It allows them to sit with their own choices and the reality of the loss they created. As Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Walking away when you are not valued and having the self-mastery to stay away is the ultimate demonstration of your freedom and self-respect. It shows that you are not dependent on their validation or their presence for your happiness. Consider the story of Alexia. She was in a relationship where she constantly felt like she was giving more than she received. Her partner was often dismissive of her feelings, unreliable, and took her unwavering support for granted. Alexia tried talking to him, explaining her needs, expressing her hurt, but nothing fundamentally changed. Eventually, she reached a point where she knew she had to leave for her own well-being. She didn't leave in a fit of anger or with a list of accusations. She calmly and clearly stated that she was leaving because the relationship was not healthy for her, and then she did. She didn't respond to his initial texts or calls, which were a mix of confusion and mild apologies. She maintained her silence. Weeks later, when he realized she wasn't coming back, his messages changed. They became full of regret, acknowledging his mistakes, expressing how much he missed her and how he hadn't appreciated her. But by then, Alexia had found peace in her decision and was moving forward. His regret was his to bear. It didn't change the reality of how he had treated her or her need to move on. When someone regrets losing you, your silence is a powerful affirmation of your decision. It prevents you from falling back into old patterns and reinforces the boundary you set. Their regret is a consequence of their actions, not a signal for you to return or to explain yourself further. Let your absence be the final word. Here is a step-by-step plan. So, how do you actually put this into practice? How do you choose silence and detachment when every instinct tells you to fight, to explain, to react? It's a process, not an overnight change. Here is a simple plan to help you start applying this power in your own life. Step 1. Recognize the pattern. The first step is awareness. Start noticing when people are using these behaviors, lying, betraying, insulting, playing the victim, undervaluing, or provoking, specifically to get a reaction from you or control a situation. See their behavior for what it is, often a tactic or a reflection of their own issues, not a true reflection of your worth or the situation's reality. Step 2. Pause before reacting. This is the most crucial moment. When you feel that surge of emotion, anger, hurt, frustration, the urge to defend yourself, pause. Take a breath. Create a small space between the stimulus, their action words, and your response. In that space, remember the insights we've discussed, that reacting often fuels the fire, gives them power, and distracts from the truth. Step 3. Control your inner state. This is where the Stoic wisdom is key. Remind yourself that you cannot control their behavior, but you can control your reaction to it. Focus on maintaining your own calm and dignity. This isn't easy. It takes practice, but it's the foundation of true resilience. Your goal is to remain unshaken internally, even if they are trying their best to shake you. Step 4. Choose your response, often silence. Once you've paused and centered yourself, consciously choose your response. In many of these situations, the most powerful response is minimal or no response. Silence, calm detachment, a simple nod, or a change of subject. This is not about being passive. It's about active non-engagement with their negative dynamic. It's about conserving your energy and denying them the reaction they seek. Step 5. Trust the process. Letting silence and time do the work requires patience and faith. You have to trust that the truth has a way of emerging, that manipulative patterns often reveal themselves, and that people eventually face the consequences of their actions, even if you don't see it immediately. Your job isn't to be the enforcer of karma. Your job is to maintain your integrity and peace. Step 6. Focus on yourself. Redirect the energy you would have spent fighting, explaining, or reacting towards yourself. Focus on your own growth, your own well-being, your own goals. Strengthen your boundaries. Build relationships with people who genuinely value you. Your worth is not up for debate, and you don't need anyone else's validation. Practicing this takes time and effort. You won't get it right every time, and that's okay. But the more you practice pausing, controlling your reaction, and choosing detachment, the more you will reclaim your power from those who seek to take it. You will find that your silence becomes your strength, your boundaries become clearer, and your peace becomes less vulnerable to the negativity of others. You will discover the profound power of simply stepping back and letting the truth and consequences unfold. If you like this video and you want to support our new channel, please like this video, subscribe, and push the notification bell so you don't miss our new videos.